the life of a hunter. It's not about an end result. It's about a journey to find who we are, to discover where we've come from. It's an effort to overcome challenge and adversity. We provide food for the table while fighting to restore the foundations our forefathers have laid. They may bend, but they will not break. And so we fight with a heart of respect. You see, it's not an effort to look down on anyone, but rather an effort to look back at where we've come from, and most importantly, where we'll be if we don't. You see, it's our life. You can stand with us, or you can stand against us, but the life of a hunter is our DNA. We've all come from hunters, and so we continue to move ahead as hunters. You see, this is who we are. This is our creed. This is our life. This is our given right.
Takes the snap, four-man rush coming for him. Back loads up, throws it down the middle for Snelson. Tip in the air, intercepted.
Boom!
Stevens for LSU.
It's over.
Down, and so does the nation's longest winning streak. 20 seconds to go. Stevens.
We're headed to Iowa right now. Listen to LSU play UCF in the Fiesta Bowl, and they just intercepted the ball with 20 seconds left on the clock, up by 8. So if they can't close it out now, something's wrong. Finally, my heart has been, this game's been up and down, up and down, up and down. Now, if we can just go into Iowa and kill a big buck, this trip will be perfect. Go Tigers.
Anyone that knows Kenneth Lancaster knows he's passionate about a couple things. Obviously whitetail deer hunting, but also LSU Tiger football. This trip, he's experiencing a little of both as he heads to Mark's farm in Iowa. Upon arriving at Mark's farm, the guys waste no time in getting to the blind. Hunting late season Iowa, it obviously has its obstacles. Sub-zero temperatures, accompanied by plenty of snow, can provide more than uncomfortable scenarios. But for both Mark and Kenneth, they wouldn't have it any other way.
So what we're doing here is we're following Dano in. Our deer's coming from this hollow here or the next one over. He's popping up either 400 or 500 or 600 yards up there, or he's coming out right here. We got a camera in here in this corner. Our stand, we're being extremely aggressive. We got a nature blind on the corner of this woods, which we normally don't do this time of year. But we got a southwest wind, and this deer is very cagey, and he's only coming out late night some nights, and he's coming out right here. So when we get out, instead of having the tractor come and get us like we normally would, we're actually walking down through the woods in the middle of the night, which will be fine because the deer should be out here in the field. So a very aggressive and extreme measure for hunting in this type of year, but this is the only way we're going to kill this deer.
Mark's attempt to outsmart these mature whitetails begins with following his friend Dan in on the tractor. These deer are very comfortable with the tractor coming in. If they were to walk or even drive the ATV in alone, it would put the deer on a great alert. Nevertheless, both Kenneth and Mark settle in their blinds across the farm from one another, in hopes of seeing a giant mature Iowa whitetail.
I don't know if y'all can tell it or not, but it is cold and stiff south wind. Every year, whenever I come up, either Dan or Chris sits with me. I don't know whether it's because they enjoy hunting with me or whether it's they don't trust me. I'm not sure.
It's just barely 1 o'clock, and yes, that's early to be in a stand here in Iowa for late season, but what we did is we're being really aggressive for this deer we call Edward. It's just a beautiful, beautiful 10-point, great big long brow tines. We've had him for at least 3 years, maybe even longer on the cameras, and this is the year that we need to try to harvest him. But he's on a piece of the farm that it's way down in off the edge of this one point. And to get here, the best way to get here, because we're right on the edge of the woods, is with the tractor. And so we came in with the ATV right behind the tractor, came in, let them go around a few times with the tractor just to, because the deer won't jump out like they will if we walked in and came in with the ATV alone. So
this place is really strictly managed. Dan and Chris and Mark, they strictly manage this place, and there's a couple of deer coming in here that have my name on him. So Dan is here to hang out with me, number one, but number two, to make sure that we're looking at the right deer whenever they come in.
The Given Right is being brought to you by Big & J Long Range Attractants, Swagger, the bipod with moves, and Expedition Archery. Experience perfection. With Big & J, it's not a matter of if your deer will show up, it's simply a matter of when. Big & J Long Range Attractants. The aroma is super strong, the range is super long. Mark, without a doubt, has some of the finest ground in Iowa, not only because of its geographical location, but because of the work and time they put into this property each and every year. Mark's team literally spends close to half of their year on this particular farm, and every year, their efforts pay off. The guys have both had plenty of success here over the years. The only question this year is, will the deer cooperate during the time the guys have allotted for hunting?
Hopefully we'll get one of these big ones up here close in the next couple of days. So anyway, I'm just gonna kick back now. I got me a coffee cup over here full of coffee, and Dan brought some Reese cups. So I don't know if Reese's, if y'all looking to sponsor anybody, but I'm open.
Both Kenneth and Mark obviously take their hunting serious, but it doesn't mean they don't like to have a good time while they're in the field.
My New Year's resolution's going down the drain. And call me.
these are the hardest kind of sits. We've been here 3.5, just a little over 3.5 hours. We knew we weren't going to see any deer early here. It's just going to pop up. It's going to be last minute. There's not going to be much pre-roll, as we call it.
After one day of hunting, neither Mark or Kenneth had laid eyes on their target buck. And so as day 2 rolled around, the guys got ready to go back to the grind.
You are a little bit whiny, though.
I mean, I done hunted the whole afternoon and ain't killed nothing.
I think he's looking at you, even though he doesn't want to look eye to eye.
Well, I mean, yesterday you told me, sharpen my knife. That's what you said, just sharpen your knife. So I did. And it's still sharp.
It's still sharp.
We didn't see it.
Is it going to be that?
We didn't see the 25 deer yesterday afternoon. I mean, when you going to take me to a good spot?
You know how whiny at the text I got when
I believe it.
I'm in the garden. Oh, you guys have food? Oh, you're watching a movie. Well, we're just sitting over here. We haven't seen anything.
Saw a carp swim by.
We're back after the same deer, Big Edward to Big 10 point. And the winds are about the same, but it's much clearer today, a little more high pressure, so hopefully the deer will get out here before they did last night. Last night we didn't see a deer until like 45 minutes before dark. But Kenneth is getting ready to go over the same spot too. We're probably going to be extremely aggressive and break some rules here that are normal for the average hunter as we do this kind of stuff. We're going to come back into this blind again tomorrow. We got the same wind, and we're going to stay after this deer. He will make a mistake. We're coming in with the tractors and the ATVs and dropping us right off. We're not walking in. We're never visible. We dropped right out of here last night. The deer never saw us. So as long as we don't make a major mistake with him in the field, I think we got a chance to see him again.
The Given Right is being brought to you by Hornady Security, protected valuables, enhanced peace of mind. Conus, hunting and outdoor. Nature Blinds, the most realistic hunting blind on the planet. And Weather Guard, truck and van equipment. Swagger, when mobility matters. Any terrain, any situation. Shoot with confidence. Shoot with Swagger, the bipod with moves. Just before sunset, the deer Mark had been anticipating showed himself.
He's got to be behind him. He's got to. He's been running with him. There he is. That's it. 100%. That's it. He's coming up over the hill. Can you get on him from over there? You see? You need to come over here.
So let's go. Let's go.
All right. I'm ready when you are. When he comes down.
All right, whenever you can. Just take your time, okay?
You good, dear?
Just hold tight.
You ready? He's coming down now. You ready? There he goes. He's locked down. I just didn't see him falling into the edge of the woods. Oh, he's a smoker too. He's a big one. That's Edward. I didn't see him fall. He made it walk right to the edge of the woods, but that's what they do a lot of times. He's bigger than I thought he was. He's bigger in real life than he is on the pictures. I'm trying to see if I can see him over there. He walked right into that brush. He was already right on the edge of the woods.
In an effort to not push the deer, since Mark didn't see him actually lay down, he decides to hold off until the following morning, so that Kenneth and the rest of the team could join him in an effort to find him. The old rule of thumb, when in doubt, back out, definitely was at play, and it most definitely ended up being the right move.
Sweet. Thanks, man.
Heck yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to get my hands on it.
over the hill.
Oh, he didn't go that much further. It just went the wrong direction than we thought.
Yeah,
that's
we
all.
thought he went straight on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those pictures. Look at
What a deer, huh? Dude,
man, look at the size of that thing, Kenneth.
he's a giant.
We could have come last night, but
Yeah, he's been right here. Congratulations, man.
get in here with me, man.
What a toad. Iowa, baby. Congratulations, man.
Tonight, your turn, bud.
Hey, that's all right. I can celebrate this one right now. We'll wait till tonight for that. Congratulations. Hey, never, ever apologize for your God-given right to hunt. That's a toad.
Harvesting mature whitetails is something that will never get old for Mark. Sharing those memories with close friends is equally important. Far more often than not, the meaning behind hunting is often lost in the size of an animal or the measurement of an antler. And that is one thing both Kenneth and Mark always aim to keep in perspective. The Given Right is being brought to you by The Grind, Dead Ringer, Buck Fever Synthetic Scents, Cupped Waterfowl, and Real Tree. Every hunt is defined by a single moment. Don't let the moment define you. Experience perfection and make your next hunt an expedition. After Mark harvested his buck on the second day of the hunt, Kenneth's luck wasn't so fortunate. For the next 5 days, he would set for hours, hoping to have a management buck in range. At the end of day 7, when all hope was nearly lost, everything changed.
Well, that's pretty much it for our Iowa late season hunt. They say you don't have to shoot one for it to be successful, but I don't feel too successful. It's been a grind. We've hunted hard for 7 days and just didn't get a shot at the right deer. So anyway, I'll put back in for the draw next year and hopefully draw this tag again, and I'll come back up here and I'll grind it out for 7 more days. But anyway, that's a old wrap on the Iowa season for Kenneth. There's the deer on that.
You never get to the top. Where's that butt?
Yeah, go right there. You feel right there, dude. Finally, 7 days of grinding it out here in Iowa, and we finally got a shot at a nice buck on a day where it's blowing gusts of 40, and the temperature has dropped from about 34 down to, I looked at it a while ago, and it's 22 degrees. Unbelievable. I mean, I'd given up. I thought it was over. I thought it was over, and looked over, and he was standing right over there with a doe coming up into the food plot right here into this cut corn. You feel, man, that wind is unbelievable the way it's blowing right now.
I'm not going to go down there when you do your boat. You go do that by yourself.
I'm fixing to close this window. You know, I don't know how big he is, but I can promise you this. I do not care. He is plenty big enough for me. After 7 days of sitting through what we've done, he's plenty big enough. Dude, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I have had a blast. I appreciate it. Thank you. I don't know if y'all can tell it, but the wind is blowing gusts of 40 right now. It is unbelievable. That's what I'm talking about. Man, what a beautiful deer. Oh, look at that. Oh, unbelievable. You know, we always say last day, last hour, but I mean, it is. This is the last day that we had to hunt. We are leaving in the morning, headed to Louisville, Kentucky for the ATA show, and we have been hunting all week, 7 straight days, and the weather has changed from hot to cold, windy. When we started out, we had a ton of snow, and then it warmed up, the snow melted, and just, I can't believe it. Just the last day and last 10 minutes of light that we had left, and the 9-point stepped out. One of the deer that we actually come in here looking for. What a beautiful deer. We're gonna get him loaded up. Never, ever, ever, ever apologize for your God-given right to hunt. Whew. Thank you, Lord, thank you. Man, what a deer. Oh, what a day, what a week. Yes, sir. Boom. Whew.
Here the whole time, just wait, just like this.
It took me 7 days, but I got it done. Got it done, man.
7 days. It's a feat in and of itself to shoot a deer today.
Can you believe the wind that we had this afternoon?
Big old head on it.
Big old head on him. I mean, I'm happy. You know me. I'm happy. I mean,
I know you, yeah. It's a long week for you.
it's been a long week.
That first, second, third day, you get past the third day, you usually get a little used to it.
That's a great ending to our late season Iowa
This is
hunt.
another one, right?
Another one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Enjoy it, bud.
I did too. Thank
Great.
you.
Awesome.
The 2018 Iowa season turned out to be great for both Mark and Kenneth, and once again proved why the sport we so dearly love is called hunting. It's impossible to know when or if the opportunity will ever present itself. All you can do is put forth the effort and try.
Hello?
Hey,
Hey,
guess what?
what?
I got him.
You got him.
I killed a 9-point.
Good deal.
After 7 days of hunting, I finally got him.
You just had to wait till the last day.
I didn't mean to wait 7 days.
I heard you tried.
Where are the girls at? Hey, Bug. I killed a 9-point.
Awesome.